Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fulfilled Female Entrepreneur Podcast. It's your host, Cassandra Rosa. I am an intuitive life coach, business coach, and healer. And the mission behind this podcast is to help you to create a fulfilling life and business. Today, I'm really excited to talk about some unconventional self-love tips. Hey, it's time for another solo episode. In lieu of it being the week of Valentine's Day, I thought it would be amazing to talk about the topic of love. We had a relationship coach on last week. Go and check out the previous episode. But today I want to focus on self-love. And I'm going to share with you some self-love tips and not the conventional ones. These are not your average self-love tips. And these are the biggest things that have allowed me to deepen my relationship with myself and cultivate much more than self-love than I've ever had before. It's easy when you see this time of year on social media, people share having bubble baths, going for a walk, meditating, or all forms of self-care. All important. I am a girl that loves those types of self-love and self-care tips, and they are important. But what I have found in my own journey is the deeper that you go with self-love and the kind of simple things that you can do in your day-to-day will make a long-lasting impact when it comes to your self-love, your self-care, your worthiness, and your self-esteem. And in my journey in 2022, it was really about self-love, self-worth, and self-esteem for me. It wasn't just having the beautiful bubble baths and going for the walks and doing, the ones that are shareable on Instagram, but it was really going deep and pulling back the layers and making myself a priority. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is definitely not selfish. And self-love is the most important form of love. And that's something that I've realized in my life. For when it comes to relationships with loved ones, family, friends, clients, partners, all of you, it's really important that I put myself at number one. And that was really hard as a woman, as an entrepreneur. It's easy to put yourself at the bottom of the list. It's easy to focus on love for your partners and love for your family. And if you're a mother, love for your kids, love for your clients, and for you to take a back seat. And I've shared in previous episodes, solo episodes, how in the start of my business, I kind of took a back seat of my life because I was so focused on service. And the more that I talk to even more clients of mine and fellow entrepreneurs, this is a common theme that we see. So that's why last year I made it a priority to focus on me and healing myself at the deepest level and cultivating more self-love than I ever did before. And in reflecting on the previous year and reflecting on self-love tips and tricks that I can share here with you this week of Valentine's Day, I thought of these three main things that I want to share with you today. So first things first, feeling good and making that the number one priority is one of the biggest things that we can do to cultivate self-love. It may sound simple. It may sound cheesy, but it's important. It's really important. So if you're in situations that don't feel good in your life, if you're in a career that doesn't bring you joy, if you're in a relationship that doesn't bring you joy, if you're in situations that don't bring you joy, if you're finding patterns that you have in your life, occurring cycles in your life that don't bring you joy, put your foot down and make a change in your life. Make a change. It may be uncomfortable. It may feel like you're letting people down. It may feel like an enormous step outside of your comfort zone, but there's no bigger way to show self love to yourself than to make the big changes in your life. So, when it comes to career, you might be in a job that you hit that snooze button every single morning. I've been there. I've been there. Luckily, that's not the case anymore. And I used to drag myself out of bed to go to a job that wasn't bringing me joy. And having that feeling of dissatisfaction and upset is a gift. It's a gift to show you that there is something that could be more for you. And it is possible. It is possible when you're in your job and you're daydreaming about having a different life, traveling, doing something that helps others. These are the things that I used to daydream about. It is possible for you to do this for yourself. So, with that being said, it may be a step outside of your comfort zone. You may need help with the how. You may need support to make those transitions, but it's really important that you make those steps to allow yourself to feel good in your life, to eliminate stressors, to eliminate dissatisfaction, and really give yourself permission to feel good and to have a life that lights you up and that you're passionate about. There may be this big transitional phase where you have to let go of things that you've had in your life, let go of relationships, let go of patterns, make a move to a different place, right? Let go of the old things that you thought that you wanted. And it's uncomfortable to do that, to go through a metamorphosis, to be like a butterfly, going outside of the cocoon and waving the wings and flying. There is that uncomfortableness for a second, but when you open your wings and fly and you have that freedom and you're flying around and seeing life from a new perspective with joy and happiness and bliss, it is totally worth it. So feel good, feel good, make that a priority. Make those long lasting changes. And in the day to day and the intern, include things in your life that you love, that make you fill your heart up with love and excite you at your core, right? Those childlike things, those hobbies that maybe you had that brought you so much joy, like dancing, music, health, sports, art, whatever that may be. Bring that back into your life and allow that joy and that happiness to be a part of the day to day. Choose happiness, choose joy, and let go of the misery and the discomfort and the dissatisfaction, no matter what it takes. It's possible. You can do it. You can do it. I believe in you, and I'm here to support you if you need help with those transitions as a coach and as a friend and as a sister of yours. Next, something that's so huge when it comes to self-love is minding your mindset and being really kind to yourself with the words that you say to yourself. This is like a deep one, but if you're telling yourself you're ugly when you look in the mirror, if you're telling yourself that you can't do something and you're being unkind to yourself, that's not helping you with your life and your goals and your dreams and your happiness. It's quite the opposite. So it's really important to become aware of what you tell yourself in the day to day, what you tell yourself. Sometimes we don't even realize because we have 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day. So it's important to become aware of what you tell yourself and to do the work to let go of those thoughts and tell yourself loving thoughts. If there's things that you wouldn't say to a little girl or boy beside you, then don't say it to yourself. Don't poo-poo on yourself. Be your own hype woman or hype man. Like, fill yourself up with thoughts and beliefs that help you elevate yourself and help you achieve your goals and dreams instead of poo-pooing on yourself and pushing yourself down, right? So you may be wondering, how do I do this? You could do something simple as grabbing a journal every day and just free writing and seeing what comes out and seeing what your beliefs are. It could just be more mindful of what you're telling yourself. And if you're finding that there's patterns, like you feel not confident, you say nasty things to yourself when you look in the mirror, or when you're taking action towards your business, you're saying things that aren't kind. It's becoming aware of them. It's grabbing a piece of paper and writing them down and releasing it and ripping it up and choosing positive things instead. Saying affirmations is a good way to kickstart that momentum. But then if you find that there's patterns going on, it's important to go deeper. It's important to go deeper and not just putting a band-aid on it, but really going deep into those situations of where those thoughts come from. Because often it's situations that have happened at a young age. Maybe you were bullied as a kid. Maybe your parents said things that weren't very constructive to you. Um, at that young age, it's like your inner child can have some wounding. So it's really important to get to the root of where these patterns come from and let it go. And that's the biggest love that you can give to yourself. Love for yourself and love for your inner child that may be wounded from things in the past, so that you can fill yourself up with positivity and be your own hype man or hype woman instead of, being tough on yourself. That's so important. That's so, so important. If there's anything that you take away from this video, like that's a really, really big one, is just being more aware of how you speak to yourself. Lastly, something that is huge for when it comes to self-love is to make those daydreams a reality. There's no better way to show how much you love yourself than to check things off of your bucket list, to create that business that you've been daydreaming about, to take that trip, right? Because life is really, really, really short. There has been situations in my life, in my family's life, where someone has passed away young, way too young. And it makes you think about, as morbid as it sounds, it makes you realize how short life is, how we're only here for a limited time. And I don't know about you, but when I come to the end of my life, I want to tell myself I lived and I loved myself. And there's no better way to do that. I know I keep saying that for all these tips, but they're all so important. But like, to make those moves for yourself, acting in spite of fear, stepping outside of your comfort zone, living big, making bold moves, which is something that my client of mine used to say all the time in the course when I was teaching her, making bold moves, stepping outside of your comfort zone. There's no better way to show that you love yourself than taking that step, than choosing your daydream over the fear, over the ego, over what other people are telling you is best for you. Show yourself how much you love yourself by making those daydreams a reality, right? Leaving my full-time job was a gift to me, right? To become an entrepreneur. It was a gift to me to go to Africa and volunteer after university, even though I was scared because I didn't really know too many people there, right? It's important. And when you do all these things, right, you make yourself feel good, right? You make yourself feel good. And you're kind in the way you talk to yourself. And you make your dreams a reality. That's attractive. That's attractive for a life partner. That's attractive for clients. That's attractive for friendships and connecting with your soul family, for people that are meant to be in your community. That's inspirational. That's attractive. That will bring in a whole new wave of people into your life. So last year, I took this time to focus deeply on myself, on healing, of cultivating more self-love, of doing these things that I was telling you, making myself feel good is the highest priority and letting go of a bunch of things that weren't making my life good. Being even more kinder to myself than I ever was before in the way that I spoke to myself. And continuously, taking action on the dreams and making big steps despite the fear that came up. And that changed a lot when it came to my relationships. My relationship with my family became so much more close. There was less conflict because I was being kind to myself. So I was being more mindful and aware of how I spoke to other people. And that just allowed my relationships with my family to transform. My friendships got much deeper, because we were sharing about our dreams together and keeping each other accountable. And we're in situations of hyping each other up, being each other's hype woman to make each other feel good. And I attract a soul aligned partner in my life and having an easeful and enjoyable and amazing relationship more than I ever have in the past before. And why did all that happen? Why did my relationships evolve and change? Because I filled myself with love. I did these things for myself. In addition to all the beautiful self-care practices of pampering myself, when you do that, you change. It becomes attractive. You become an energetic match to all the people that you want to have in your life. And the clients, I had never had so many clients last year, even in the midst of not taking a full course load, that showed up so powerfully, that did the work, that paid in full for my offerings, that gave 100% to the occasion and continuously wanted to work and expand themselves even more, because people are a mirror, okay? People are a mirror to you. So the more that you do all these beautiful things for yourself, you're going to see that even more and more in your outer world with the people that surround you. So with that being said, I invite you to just reflect on what I've shared here on this video and reflect on maybe all the other self-love content and self-care content that you've seen, maybe even on your social media feed, and commit to yourself. Give yourself this beautiful Valentine's week gift of taking a step for you and making yourself the highest priority, making your happiness the highest priority, really being kind and aware of what you're telling yourself, and taking a step towards accomplishing a daydream, even as simple as it may be, even a bucket list item of trying a new restaurant. Give yourself love, because the more that you do, the more that your life is going to change drastically. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I'll upload a new video on Thursday. See you in the next one. Bye.